Hi friends, if you are an NRI and you are looking to sell your property in India, I am going to give you 5 checklists to sell your property hassle-free. Let's watch. So friends, the checklist number 1 is PAN transfer. So friends, once you are an NRI, your PAN, that is permanent account number, should be in international jurisdiction. But in some cases, if you don't file your return or you file your return from local jurisdiction, your PAN still stays in the local jurisdiction. So before you even think about selling a property, first thing you should check whether your PAN is lying in international jurisdiction or local jurisdiction. In case it is lying in local jurisdiction, you have to make an application to transfer your PAN from local jurisdiction to international jurisdiction, because if you don't do that, you cannot apply for lower TDS certificate. So that's checklist number 1. Let's move to checklist number 2. Now friends, checklist number 2 is gather your documents for applying for lower TDS. Now you might be wondering why you require a lower TDS. So friends, if you are an NRI and you are planning to sell your property in India, there is a TDS, tax deducted at source, at the rate of 22.88%, which is approximately 23%. So for example, you are selling a property at 1 crore, then you have to pay approximately 23 lakhs rupees as a TDS. And if you want to avoid that, paying such a huge TDS and then claiming a refund, there is an option which is called applying for lower TDS or nil TDS. Now friends, for doing that, the income tax department requires certain documentation, including your purchase property documents, your capital gain calculation, PAN number, your TAN number, buyer's TAN number. So these are documents, takes time. So what you can do before you start finding buyer, you have to gather all these documents so that once you find a buyer, you can quickly apply for lower TDS without no time. It will save a lot of time which you will spend, and maybe most of the buyer will not agree to give you that much time post signing and accepting a token money or signing a memorandum of understanding. So the better and most advisable part, that before you decide, before you find a buyer, collect your all documents. So this is checklist number 2, collect your all documents to apply for lower TDS. Let's watch the checklist number 3. Now friends, you got your documents ready, you got your buyer, so you have to ask your buyer that get a TAN number registered. But this is not your checklist number 3. Your checklist number 3 is file form number 13. So friends, for filing form number 13 online, which is a form to get a lower or nil TDS certificate, so that you can avoid all the hassle of paying 23% as a TDS and then claiming that refund, which take a lot of time sometime. So the third checklist you have to do is apply or file your form number 13 online. So whatever documents you have gathered at the step number 2 along with TAN number of your buyer, you can apply online form 13 with form 13. The form, once you apply for the form 13, this form 13 online goes to your income tax officer, assessing officer, to your international jurisdictions where your PAN is lying, which I told you in first step that you have to transfer your PAN. So once you apply online, this application goes to there, and according to procedure, within 30 days they have to give you the form 13, which can be 0% TDS or which can be nil TDS as per the computation of a capital gain. So this is step number, this is a checklist number 3. Let's move to our second last step number, which is step number 4. Now friends, once you submit your form number 13, you will get an acknowledgement number, and you will also get to know who is the assessing officer who is processing your lower TDS or nil TDS application. You have to do a little bit of follow up, because without follow up, in India nothing moves. So you have to be just polite but consistent with your follow up, and within the due date, generally if all documents are in proper place, you will get your form number 13. Once you get the form number 13, in step number 4 or checklist number 4, you have to give this form 13 to your buyer. The buyer will submit this form 13 the certificate of lower TDS to his bank, and then only the bank from where your buyer is getting loan will be disbursed to you. Before that, it won't be possible. So that is step number 4. After the step number 4, we are going to talk about the last step. This is step number 5. So friends, the step number 5 is file your IT return, and this is the most forgetful step or checklist which you can call. So once you get your money into your account, please don't forget that you have to file your income tax return next year. Before that, once you submit your form 13 to your buyer, the buyer going to submit to bank. In case 0% TDS certificate, that means there is no TDS is required to paid, or there is nil TDS certificate, there is no TDS payable from buyer side. So buyer can directly, the buyer's bank basically will pay you the whole amount without keeping or withholding any TDS amount. In case you get a lower TDS certificate, that means 3% or 5% or 1%, whatever rate is decided by income tax officer, then your buyer has to make payment of that TDS, and they have to file a TDS return also. So you need to check, just remember this step, you need to check after 15 days that those TDS deducted and return filed should reflect into your income tax portal. Without that, you cannot claim refund, you cannot file your income tax return also. So don't forget that. And generally, if you sell your property in this year, suppose you are selling your property in 2020 up to March, then you have to file your return next year, because you understand in India the year for income tax is April to March. So if you sell property, suppose April to March 2020, then you have to file your return before July 2020. And if you don't file the return, you can receive the notice, you cannot claim the refund, and the worst thing, the buyer will also caught it between this act. So don't forget to file the return, because the return is happening after a gap, most of people forget it. So these are all 5 checklists or steps which I given, which as an NRI seller you can keep in your mind, and if you keep in your mind, your journey to sell your property will be hassle free. Friends, as a partner of MGR and Company, we are also providing complete end-to-end solution for buyer compliances as well as seller compliances, especially in this case of NRI sellers. So what you can do, you can visit our website AKT Associates, and you can check the packages. You can contact us if you have any queries. We can send you the whole document list, we can send you the complete packages to you. After that, you can seek our consulting, and once you are satisfied, you can hand over this work, because this work require a lot of follow-up, and maybe being a busy person or first timer, you can make some mistakes and the whole property transactions or deal can get into trouble. So the wiser part is to hire somebody who has experience, who is doing this on regular basis. Till the time we have done more than 200 applications, and we got almost 95% success rate. Some cases it can be rejected because there is lack of documentation, or there can be lack of clarity on some part of the agreement of the property. Otherwise 95% cases you will get the lower TDS, or in case 0% TDS rate also, and this is not very difficult, only you need to do the follow-up. So with that, friends, I'm going to end this video. I hope you might have liked. If you have any related questions, FAQs, or you want to understand anything, what is the procedure to sell or the property, and you can understand what is the kind of capital gain you require to be paying, or what is the kind of tax provisions you have to make, everything you can ask to us. Our expert, including me, will be available to answer these questions and ensure that your whole journey of selling the property and getting your money, transferring your money to your foreign accounts will be a hassle free. And it is actually hassle free, only the point somebody should knows how to make it hassle free. Thanks friends, this is all. Please share this video to all those people who might be thinking into your contact, or your friends or families who are NRI, who might be thinking to sell a property, and it can be a great help for them. Till the time, have a nice day, enjoy your life.